Hello, everyone. In this case, we are going to consider as part of our revisions. These are integers, questions under integers. So we are going to look into some sections from a question paper where we were given integers. So that was question 1.2. This is supposed to be March 2025 of Mpumalanga province. 1.2, we had a question on integers. Calculate 2 plus minus 3 plus minus 5. Calculate. Okay, so if we were to simplify this without a calculator, we are going to look into the signs that are here, plus a minus. All right, we also have these two signs together, plus and a minus. Remember, when two signs of that nature meet, a plus and a minus, you are going to have a minus. A minus and a plus is going to give us a minus again. It is a positive to a positive, which will give us a positive, or a minus and a minus, which is going to give us what? A positive. So in our case, a plus and a minus is going to give us a negative. 2 minus 3 plus and minus minus 5. So 2 minus 3. We are going to the left. So thus, whenever we are subtracting a smaller number from a bigger number, our answer is going to have a negative. So it's going to be negative 3 minus 2, which is what? Which is negative 1. So we have simplified 3. This one, the 2 minus 3. It will give us minus 1. So we have a minus 5 that is remaining, minus 5. So minus 1, minus 5. Remember, if the signs are the same, just add the numbers. Then use that common sign on your answer. So you just add the numbers. 1 plus 5 is what? It's 6. So it's going to be a negative 6. So the best answer was A. All right, of which, guys, this is section A, where you have answers already. So calculators, you can just use your calculator direct, after which, guys, is just 1 mark. All right, this is for you to know the exact way of doing it, but for the sake of your calculator, you can do this. 2 plus minus 3, close the bracket, plus minus 5. I'm gonna open the bracket, put minus 5 like that. It's gonna give you the answer direct as it is, minus 6. All right, so it is the same thing on even question 1.3. It was also part of your integers. You can also use your calculator direct. All right, let's just see. Open the bracket. Minus 8 over 4. So this is minus 8 over what? Over 4. You're going to need to close the bracket and square it. Minus, all right, there is a minus in a bracket, minus 4. As it is here, your calculator must show exactly what you are seeing on your quest, exactly as it is. All right, minus the square root of what? The square root of 64. So that was going to give us what? A 0. All right, which is the best answer is A. All right, of which we could have simplified without a calculator. All right, how is that possible? Minus 8 over 4 squared. Okay, then we have got minus 4 minus the square root of 64. So a square of a negative, when a negative number is being raised to an even exponent, remember it changes to be a positive. So the negative raised to exponent of 2, 2 is an even number, is going to be a positive. So it's going to be positive. So you raise everything to the exponent of 2. 8 is raised to the exponent of 2. 4 is also raised to the exponent of 2. So it's 8 squared over 4 squared. So that was going to give us 8 to the exponent of 2. 8 times 8 is 64 over what? 4 squared, it means 4 times 4, which is 16. Minus, all right, minus and a minus is going to give us a positive. Remember what I said before, a negative to a negative is going to give us what? A positive. So that is a positive what? A positive 4 that we have here. That's a positive 4 minus the square root of what? 64. The square root of 64, which number that you're going to multiply, that multiplies itself to give us this 64. Remember here we said 8 squared is 64. So the square root of 64 is what? Is 8. All right. Okay. So that is 8 there. There we're going to divide 64 divided by 16, which is a 4. But if you do not know, what are you going to do? You're going to find the highest common factor between these, which is 16. So simply divide by what? By 16. So 64 divided by 16, that's a 4, of which, if you know that it's the same 64 that you see here. So guys, that was the same thing. It was going to be 4 over 1, which is what? Which is a 4. So divided by 16, but that is the same 16 that we can see here. So instead, we can just say 16 into 16, it's 1 into 64. It is what? It is 4. So it's going to be 4 plus a 4 minus 8. 4 plus 4, adding this together, it's going to give us what? 8 minus 8. All right, so this is back to the additive inverse. 8 plus minus 8. X plus minus x gives us what? Gives us a 0. So this is what we have, 8 minus 8. That's what, guys? That's a 0. The additive inverse is exactly what we can see there. Anyways, like I said, you can just use your calculator direct. Your answer is the same. Also, as part of integers, we are supposed to be very careful because there are applications of integers in algebra. If you do your syllabus properly, you're going to find out there's a section where you use the knowledge of your integers in algebra. That is algebra in integers. These are the typical questions. Question number 3, you can have such typical questions in your March examinations. These are integers that we have that used under what? Used under the application of our algebra. So it is part and parcel of your integers. You must know that. Okay, simplify the following. What can we do using our integer concept? There are brackets. We must expand the brackets. Here, there is a bracket multiplied by the 2a outside. If we check here, there is a negative to a negative. Remember, I told you it's going to be a positive, that one. So meaning to say this whole part was going to be what? If you multiply the numbers 2 times negative 3, that's a negative 6. A times A is going to give us what? A squared. So we've got minus 6a squared. Minus to a minus, it gives us what? A positive. So it was going to be plus 5a, like that. The question is, can it be simplified further? No. These are unlike terms. We do not have the same exponent on these variables that we have. The exponents are different. This is 2, this is 1. So we cannot add. These are called what? Unlike terms. So meaning to say you are done. There's no way you can simplify this. You're done. All right, moving on, 3.2. Simplify again. So here it was a little bit direct as we are into our division. We are to divide a positive, a negative here to a positive. So that division is back again to our what? Integers. How do we have that division? A positive, a negative to a positive gives us what? Gives us a negative. So this is going to give us a negative. Then 20 divided by 4 is what? Is 5. 4 into 4, that's 1. Into 20, that's what? That's a 5. Then on this part, it's a division. Simply subtract the exponents. 5 minus 2. All right? You're dividing same bases which are the same. The bases which are the same, simply subtract your exponents. So it's 5 minus 2, which is 3. So you are going to have these typical questions where they need you to apply all those basics from your exponents in grade 8. Remember, you had exponents in term 1, so revise those exponents. It was term 2 for grade 8. Yeah, so revise those exponents again. They will be part of algebraic questions under integers. So they want you to know all those basics. So the integer part are these signs dividing positive and negative, negative to a positive, those things. That is the application of our integers, a positive to a positive, a negative divided to a negative, like that. So they want you to know all the basics. Let us move on to question 3.3. We are given to simplify again. So it was a matter of expanding the brackets and also working with the signs. So there is a bracket. There is also a bracket here. But as we are to do so, we must also consider the signs when expanding or multiplying the brackets. So this one is positive to positive, does not affect anything. So 2 times 4, that is 8. A times B squared, it's AB squared. Okay? Here we have a positive and negative. It's a multiplication. Expanding brackets means multiplication. So you're multiplying positive and a negative. A multiplication, to say these times, you're multiplying the two signs, a positive times a negative. It will give us a negative. A negative times a positive. As long as the signs are different, you get a negative. So once you multiply this positive to this negative, you get what? A negative. So it was going to be negative. Then you multiply 3 times 2, that's 6. This is A. We do not have A outside, so we're going to take it as it is. Then B times B is what? Is B squared. Everything over what? 2A B squared. What we have in the numerator is considered as part of our like terms. This part, these are like terms. Same variable, same exponent. If we are referring to A to the exponent of 1 to the exponent of 1, if we are referring to B to the exponent of 2 to the exponent of 2, so those are like terms exactly written or presented the same. Exactly written or presented the same. AB squared, AB squared. So we can get rid of that by what? Simply subtracting 8 minus 6, which is 2. This remains as it is. The A B squared is just like 2x minus x. You subtract 2 minus 1, which is 1, then x is there. So it's the same. 8 minus 6 is 2, but the A B squared must remain. Everything over what? Over 2A B squared. So this is what you're going to have. And simplifying thereafter, we can see this is exactly the same. Remember, when dividing A over A, we get what? A 1x over x. It gives us a 1. As long it is the same. So that's a number divided by that number. So this is the condition of something like a multiplicative inverse, x times 1 over x. This one is just like 2ab squared times 1 over 2ab squared. The multiplicative inverse always gives us what? A 1. So this cancels, this cancels, this cancels. You get a 1 at the end. All right. So that is what you are going to have as your final answer, 1. Just like that. For 3 marks. So you see, guys, it's just a revision. And I just hope you are getting something. If you were not revising along these questions, then you have to start working on that, all right, so that you can perfect your ways. You can perfect your ways. Minus 3x squared into minus 2y to the exponent of 3 on question 3.4. 2 marks. Simplify this. What can we do? So looking into this question, it is also the application of our integers. With algebra, we do understand when a number is raised to the exponent of 3, to the exponent of 2, to the exponent of 4, the sign is supposed to be considered according to the exponent that you're given. So looking into our question here, we can start with this bracket that is being raised to the exponent of an odd power, an odd number, 3. A negative, when raised to the exponent of an odd, it remains as a negative. It remains as a negative. But when raised to an even exponent, it will be a positive. So in our case, minus 3x squared remains as it is. We're going to multiply to the answer that we are going to have after after getting rid of this bracket. So you're saying minus to the exponent of 3 minus to the exponent of an odd gives us what? A minus. So 3 is an odd number. Remember that. It's odd. So thus the answer is going to give us what? A negative. If it was an even number, it was going to change to a positive here. But this is not going to change. But knowing that each and every part inside of the bracket is or must be raised to the exponent of what? 3. So it's 2 raised to the exponent of 3. 2 times 2 times what? Times 2, which is going to give us what? 8. Also, the y is raised to the exponent of 3. So that's y to the exponent of 3. So this is it. This is a product. We are multiplying the first term to the second term. So we must consider first the signs negative to a negative. What happens if you multiply that? It gives us a positive. So the answer was going to be positive. So writing a positive or not writing is the same. So you can even ignore that one. Then we multiply the numbers. 3 times 8. That was going to give us what? 24. X squared times y cubed is x squared y cubed. Those two will just remain as they are. So this is it. You have to consider the signs there. Negative times negative is what? Is a positive. So that's it for 2 marks. Just have to apply that. All right, let's consider the last question, which is 3.5. All right, the cube root, there is a negative there. So you must consider that negative. So it's negative on its own. The cube root of 64 is something that is on its own. This one. The minus, the negative that we see, it is a separate thing. So we are going to have minus first here. Then we determine that cube root of what? Of 64. What is the cube root of 64? The number that multiplies itself 3 times to give us 64. 4 times 4 times 4. 4 times 4, 16. 16 times 4, 64. So this is it. Minus the square root of what? The square root of 25, which is what? Which is 5. The number that multiplies itself to give us what? 25. That is a 5. 5 squared is 25. So this number multiplies itself to give us what? A 25. So we have minus what? Minus 4 minus 5. Minus 4 minus 5. The signs are the same. These signs are the same. Add the numbers and use that common sign on your answer. Just add the numbers. 4 plus what? Plus 5, which is 9. So it's going to be a negative 9. Or simply from your number line, minus 4. Then we need to subtract minus 5. So it's minus 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Going that way. So it's going to be minus 5, minus 6, minus 7, minus 8, minus 9. You are subtracting, going to the what? To the left. So these are the typical questions that you must expect in your revisions under algebra, under integers, but that is an application. You know the basics of your what? Your integers, but they also want you to use that application in algebraic expressions, those questions with a sort of algebra. All right. So expect that in your March test. Please do revise in as much as you can as you are preparing for that March test that you're going to be having very soon.